Have you ever felt time slipping through your fingers like fine sand? That moment at the end of the day or the week when you look back and ask yourself, where did all the hours go? It's a universal feeling, a ghost that haunts our modern existence. We live in a constant race, a marathon with no apparent finish line, and in the midst of it all, our most precious asset, time, simply vanishes. Imagine for a moment that time isn't something you have, but something you spend. Every second is a coin leaving your pocket. Once spent, it never returns. What are you buying with your coins today? Are you investing in growth, in connections, in inner peace? Or are you handing them over to cheap distractions, useless worries, and obligations that don't feed your soul? Stoicism teaches us a powerful and sometimes uncomfortable truth. Our life is finite. Memento mori, remember you must die. This isn't meant to be a source of anguish, but one of clarity. It is a wake-up call. When we truly grasp the fragility and preciousness of each moment, something fundamental shifts within us. We stop living on autopilot and start living with intention. This isn't a conversation about toxic productivity or how to squeeze every second out of your day. It's the opposite. It's about how to fill your hours with meaning, how to find the richness in the present, and how to build a life that, when you look back, you can say, I lived. I truly lived. If you're searching for more purpose, clarity on your priorities, and want to learn how to use your time to build a more meaningful life, this content is for you. So go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, because with every video you'll grow stronger on the inside and see life with more wisdom. The illusion of abundance and the currency of life. When we are young, time feels like an infinite ocean. We believe we have all the hours in the world. I remember spending entire afternoons doing nothing in particular, simply letting time pass, certain that countless other afternoons would follow. This is the illusion of abundance. It's a mental trap that leads us to squander our most valuable resource, believing it will never run out. But the reality is, each of us is born with a finite number of time coins. We don't know how many, but we know that every day we spend some of them. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote in his letters, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a great deal of it." This sentence echoes through the centuries because it touches upon a fundamental truth. The life we feel is short is, in fact, a life poorly spent. The shift in perception begins when we stop seeing time as a clock on the wall and start seeing it as the very fabric of life. Every choice we make is a transaction. Trading an hour of scrolling through a social media feed for an hour of reading a book that expands your mind is a transaction. Trading an afternoon of gossip for an afternoon learning a new skill is a transaction. Trading a moment of presence with someone you love for a moment of distraction on your phone is, perhaps, the worst transaction of all. When I started thinking of time as my most valuable currency, my daily decisions changed dramatically. Before saying yes to a commitment, I would ask myself, is this worth some of my life coins? Before giving in to a distraction, I would question, what am I buying with this moment? This mindset didn't make me rigid or obsessed with efficiency. On the contrary, it made me more selective and consequently more present and fulfilled. I began to value a quiet cup of coffee, a deep conversation, a walk in nature more. I realized that the best investments of my time were not the most productive in the traditional sense, but the richest in meaning. Identifying the thieves of time. To protect a treasure, we must first know the thieves. And the thieves of our time are many, often disguised as entertainment, obligation, or even thought. They are subtle yet relentless. The first and most obvious thief is digital distraction. Our smartphones, social media, the endless stream of notifications. They are designed to capture our attention, to keep us engaged in a dopamine loop that gives us small, instant rewards but steals hours of our real lives. I've caught myself picking up my phone to check one quick thing and 40 minutes later, finding myself lost in a maze of irrelevant videos and posts. Each of those minutes was a coin spent on something that brought me no growth, no genuine joy, just a fleeting numbness. Recognizing this pattern was the first step. The second was creating barriers, disabling notifications, setting specific times to check social media, and most importantly, asking myself, what am I avoiding by seeking this distraction? The second, quieter thief is rumination on the past. How many hours do we lose reliving mistakes, replaying conversations, lamenting decisions that cannot be changed? The past is a teacher, not a jailer. We should visit it to learn its lessons, but we must not build a home there. The Stoics constantly remind us to focus on what is within our control. The past is not. Spending the present mourning what is gone is like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in it. It's a futile effort that only drains the energy we could be using to build a better present. Learning to forgive yourself, extract the lesson, and move on is one of the greatest skills we can develop to protect our time. The third thief is the twin brother of rumination, anxiety about the future. If the past imprisons us in regret, the future imprisons us in worry. We spend countless hours rehearsing catastrophic scenarios, worrying about what-ifs that, most of the time, never come to pass. The anxious mind lives in a hypothetical future, stealing the peace and beauty of the only moment that truly exists, the now. The practice of bringing our attention back to the present, through breath, observation of our surroundings, focus on the task at hand, is the antidote. It's not about failing to plan for the future, but about not allowing worry about it to consume our present. Planning is useful. Worrying is a theft. The fourth thief, and perhaps the most socially accepted one, is the inability to say no. Often, out of fear of disappointing others or a need for validation, we give our time away to requests, projects, and people who are not aligned with our priorities. Every yes we give to one thing is an implicit no to something else. A yes to a project that doesn't excite you might be a no to time with your family. A yes to a social event out of obligation might be a no to the rest your body and mind need. Learning to set healthy boundaries is not selfishness, it's self-management. It is recognizing that your time is finite and that you have a responsibility to allocate it where it generates the most value, both for you and for the people who truly matter. Chronos versus kairos, living quality time. The ancient Greeks had two words for time, chronos and kairos. Understanding this difference is key to changing our relationship with life. Chronos is the time we measure, seconds, minutes, hours. It is quantitative, linear time that moves forward relentlessly, no matter what we do. It is the time of the clock, of schedules, of deadlines. Our society is obsessed with chronos. We want to do more in less time, optimize every minute, be productive. We live under the tyranny of the clock, always rushing to the next appointment. But there is another way to experience time. Kairos. Kairos is qualitative time. It is the opportune moment, the time of meaning, of presence. Kairos cannot be measured by a clock. It is that moment when you are so immersed in a conversation that you lose all track of the hours. It's the feeling of being completely present while watching a sunset. It's the joy of a fit of laughter with a friend. It's the state of flow, when you are so engaged in a creative activity that the world around you disappears. Living a life rich in time doesn't mean having more hours in the day. It means having more moments of kairos. The irony is that, often, our relentless pursuit of optimizing chronos prevents us from experiencing kairos. We are so focused on getting to the next destination that we fail to appreciate the journey. We are so busy documenting a moment for social media that we fail to actually live it. I realized my life became richer not when my schedule became fuller, but when my days started having more moments of kairos. I began to actively seek them out. This meant turning off my phone during meals to be truly with my family. It meant setting aside time for hobbies that put me in a state of flow, with no goal of productivity, just for the pleasure of the activity. It meant learning to simply be, instead of constantly doing. The practice of mindfulness is a gateway to kairos. It is the training to anchor our consciousness in the present. When you savor each bite of your food, when you feel the warm water on your body during a shower, when you listen intently to what someone else is saying without formulating your reply, you are stepping out of the domain of chronos and into the realm of kairos. And it is in this realm that life truly happens. It's in these moments that the most precious memories are made. It is the quality, not the quantity, of time that defines the quality of our life. Memento mori, death as a compass for life. It may sound paradoxical, but one of the most powerful tools for learning to live well is to meditate on death. The practice of memento mori, central to Stoicism, is not about being morbid. It's about using the awareness of our mortality as a filter for our decisions. Steve Jobs, in his famous Stanford commencement speech, said, "Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life." When faced with our finitude, the trivial fades away. Small worries, fears of failure, the opinions of others, pride, all of it loses its power. What remains is what is truly essential. I started practicing memento mori in a simple way. Every morning I would ask myself, if today were my last day on earth, would I be happy with what I've planned to do? Would I be the person I want to be? This question doesn't lead me to abandon all my responsibilities and live recklessly. On the contrary, it gives me courage. The courage to have that difficult but necessary conversation. The courage to apologize. The courage to start that project I've been putting off out of fear. The courage to say, "I love you" more often. This practice helps us prioritize with brutal honesty. Suddenly, spending hours on a pointless internet argument seems like an absurd waste. Holding a grudge for years feels like too heavy a burden to carry on such a short journey. Failing to express our creativity for fear of judgment seems like a betrayal of our own soul. Death puts time into perspective. It reminds us that each day is a gift, an opportunity not to be wasted. Living with an awareness of death doesn't make us sad, it makes us more alive. We begin to value the small joys more: the morning sun, the smell of coffee, a stranger's smile. We become more grateful for the people in our lives. Our actions gain a sense of urgency and purpose. Think about it, how many things are you putting off for a someday that may never come? The dream trip, the course you want to take, the book you want to write, the reconciliation you need to seek. Memento Mori tells us, the time is now. The time to live the life you truly want is not in the future. It's the only time you have, the present. Use it wisely, bravely, and with love. Building a legacy of time, the impact on relationships. When we think of legacy, we often imagine great accomplishments, fortunes, or works of art. But perhaps the most meaningful legacy we can leave is how we invest our time in the lives of others. Time is the universal language of love and care. To give your time to someone is to give them a portion of your life that you will never get back. And the quality of that time matters immeasurably. You can be physically in the same room as someone, but with your mind miles away, lost in your phone or in worries. That is not investing time, it is merely coexisting. The true gift is your presence. I learned the hard way that the quality of my relationships was directly linked to the quality of my attention. When I was with my friends or family but checking emails or thinking about work, I was offering them a diluted version of myself. I was there but I wasn't with them. The change came when I made it a conscious act to put my phone away, to look them in the eye, to listen, to understand, not just to reply. The difference was immediate and profound. Conversations became richer, bonds became stronger, shared moments became more memorable. Time invested in genuine connections is an investment that pays eternal dividends in the form of memories, support, and love. It is these moments that sustain us in difficult times. It is these memories that warm our hearts when we look back. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, spoke of our connection to the human community, sympathia. We are all part of a larger whole, and our time is best spent when we use it to strengthen these bonds. This also applies to ourselves. How do you use the time you dedicate to yourself? Do you use it to criticize yourself, to numb yourself with distractions, or do you use it to nourish yourself? Investing time in self-knowledge, in caring for your physical and mental health, in cultivating hobbies that bring you joy, is not selfishness. It is the foundation that allows you to offer your best to the world and to the people around you. You cannot serve from an empty cup. The legacy we leave is the sum of the moments we share. It's the advice we gave, the shoulder we offered, the laughter we sparked, the full attention we devoted. In the end, people will not remember how busy we were or how many items we crossed off our to-do list. They will remember how we made them feel. And the feeling of being seen, heard, and valued is the greatest gift our time can offer. Intentional action. Practical tools to reclaim your time. Understanding the value of time is the first step. The second and more crucial one is to act on that understanding. Philosophy without practice is just an intellectual exercise. Here are some concrete strategies that have helped me turn this philosophy into a way of life. 1. The weekly review. Set aside 30 minutes at the end of each week to reflect. Look at your calendar and ask yourself, where did I invest my time well? Where did I waste it? What gave me energy and what drained me? What lessons can I take into next week? This practice creates a loop of continuous learning and adjustment, ensuring you don't repeat the same mistakes and become increasingly intentional with your choices. 2. Time blocking for the essentials. Instead of leaving the most important things for when you have time, which is never, schedule them. Block out fixed times in your calendar for what is fundamental to you. Exercise, reading, family time, creative work, meditation. Treat these appointments with the same seriousness as an important business meeting. Because they are. They are meetings with your life. 3. The information diet. Be ruthlessly selective about the information you consume. Unfollow accounts that bring you anxiety or envy. Unsubscribe from newsletters you never read. Limit your news consumption to specific times and trusted sources. Remember, your attention is a finite resource. Every piece of useless information you consume takes up mental space that could be used for something constructive. Guard your mind as you would guard your home. 4. The practice of the graceful no. Learning to say no is a skill, and it can be done with kindness and respect. Instead of a blunt no, you can say, thank you so much for thinking of me for this, but I need to focus on other priorities right now, or, I can't commit to that at this time, but I wish you all the best with it. A clear and honest no is far more respectful than a reluctant yes that leads to half-hearted work or silent resentment. 5. The power of small breaks. In our culture that glorifies busyness, rest is seen as laziness. This is a fatal mistake. Intentional breaks throughout the day, even just 5 minutes to stretch, breathe deeply, or look out the window, are essential for recharging mental energy and maintaining focus. Rest is not the opposite of work, it is part of it. Just as a musician needs the silence between the notes to create a beautiful melody, we need breaks to live a harmonious and sustainable life. Living differently because you understand the value of time is not about becoming a productivity machine. It's about becoming a curator of your own life. It's about choosing wisely what deserves a place in your days, in your mind, and in your heart. Conclusion. We've reached the end of our reflection for today, but in reality, we are just at the beginning. Because understanding the value of time isn't a destination, it's a daily journey. It is a constant practice of waking up, of choosing the present over distraction, meaning over noise. The sand continues to fall through the hourglass of life for me and for you. We cannot stop time, but we can choose how to live it. We can fill our moments with presence, courage, and love. We can stop living as if we had 1,000 years and start living the only day we truly have, today. Remember the time coins you have in your pocket right now. What will you do with them for the rest of your day? How will you invest them in a way that brings you pride when you lay your head on the pillow tonight? The answer to that question is what defines a life well lived. You don't need more time. You just need to live the time you have. And now, I want to hear from you. What was the biggest time thief you identified in your own life while watching this video? And what is the first small step you will take today to reclaim that time? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your journey inspires mine, and together we build a community that chooses to live with more wisdom and purpose. The journey is collective and your voice is essential. Until next time.